Good morning, everyone. I am here with the marvelous Mel Kelly, author of these two fantastic books, Born in Ireland, Made in Germany, and his top tips for dating disasters. And that inspired the show, Disastrous Dating Advice with Mel Kelly.
Hey, how you doing? It's great to be here with the amazing Amy Hamilton, the amazing author of these two fantastic books, The Project Manager and The Consummate Communicator. It's a pleasure, an honor, a privilege to be here with you this morning. I'm so excited.
Mel, I don't know if I can handle any more fake enthusiasm.
Yeah, come on. I'm talking to America. We got to fake it till you make it. Isn't that how you do
So,
it?
how are things going over there in Munich, Germany?
Good. We're coming slowly out of this crazy times, this crazy life. We had our Freedom Day. So this was recently. So this it's all slowly. We're coming out of these crazy times. So hopefully it'll continue to get better. Anyway, that's
And
how
for
things.
those who pay a lot of attention to the show, in case you want to take a look, Mel is actually in a new location.
Oh yes, exactly. Whoa! Mel moved recently. So it's all very exciting. Most important thing that I didn't lose Amy's books. They were very close, very close to losing them. But most important thing is I think I'm not buying them again.
Because they made it through the move.
They made it through the move.
Okay, that is awesome. So, Mal, sometimes people talk about having types, right?
Types,
And
right? Yeah.
yeah, like I date a certain type of person.
Okay.
And the question for this show, or the theme for this show, is how do you break the mold? Like, how do you stop dating the merry-go-round and dating that same guy, their same gal over and over and over?
Oh, well, when you mean a type and you don't want to date him again and again, you mean like a wife beater type? Is that what you mean?
No, not like
Oh,
that. Like, I have one friend, and he's actually I'm gonna go for a guy this time.
okay,
Believe
good,
it or not, I
great,
have guy friends,
great.
and
Yeah.
he, in my opinion, I always call him the hero. And he's
All right.
always looking to date the damsel in distress. And then he
Okay.
dates these women, and they're like a hot mess. And then he's like, "Oh, they used me for my money," and I'm like, I told you this is gonna happen. Like, and it's not like it's every single time. It's like the same woman with these same issues.
Yeah.
I mean, they're different women, but it's
Yeah,
all
yeah,
the same
yeah,
type.
yeah. Well, the reality is it's his own fault, to be honest with you.
Oh, it is. But how do you
Oh,
break that mold?
it's absolutely his own fault because he internally or whatever, he wants to be the hero. He wants to save her. He wants to, somehow, think that he can impress her somehow with his money or his status or his whatever career. And that's what he's thinking. That's how he can impress her. He should go for a girl who earns more than him. There, problem solved.
Wow, that's actually
How
really good advice, though.
how
Like,
do you
that's
find
actually,
that out? You ask on the first date, how much do you earn? And even if you don't ask the first date, put it on your profile, ask it on the first phone call or email chat or whatever. How much do you earn? And if she earns less or he earns less than you, there you go. The potential damsel in distress or the man in distress. So if they earn more than you, then perfect. There you go. Problem solved. There you go.
that's it. I
It's
think an
very
important one.
straightforward. It
I
doesn't
think
have to be
for
compli It doesn't have to be complicated.
I think for women, like another stereotype is a lot of women seem to date bad boys, right? Guys who,
Yeah, but there's a reason for that.
okay, go ahead.
Yeah,
What's your
because they like bad boys. What else do they expect if they know they're a bad boy? What else do they expect? Bad boys are going to be bad boys.
so what's your advice?
Don't date bad boys if you don't want if you don't want bad boy behavior.
But how do you find a nice guy, Mel?
Oh,
Somebody like you. Do you have
oh,
brothers? I've never asked you that. Do you got a brother?
I've got four brothers. I've got four brothers. Two are married, two are not married. But
I
they're
prefer
all
a
in
not
all in relationships,
I was
all
like,
in
I prefer a
relationships.
not married brother. That would help.
But yeah, all four in long term relationships. So anyway,
No, I
even
don't
the
wanna be the other woman.
even the ones that are married, they're also in long term relationships too. But
Hopefully with their wives.
with their ex girlfriends. Okay, yes, their ex girlfriends, current wives. Yes. Anyway, so where were we there?
So we're
Pose the
talking
question
about
again.
breaking the mold and bad boys and how do you
Ah,
find a nice guy? And
but I
it
mean,
was
what the girls expect, like if they are attracted or interested and they know he's a bad guy or a bad boy, and what they expect. Well, what's your definition of bad boy anyway? I mean, a motorbike guy who fights and you know he does drugs or he's a criminal and he beats her, or I mean, again, comes home drunk. I mean, what's your definition of bad boy?
I don't know. That's a great question. I think that's a
Yeah,
Google question. But I think
yeah.
at the end, like we all kind of date like I don't
Like, is
know.
a bad boy somebody who forgets your birthday, and forgets to give you flowers for your birthday? Is that a bad boy, or is that a bad boy somebody who gets drunk and comes home, beats you for your
I
birthday?
mean, that would
I mean,
definitely
what?
be a bad boy. I'm just thinking somebody who's more like not, but I mean, that's a whole different point than the whole point of the show. So I'm not even going to go into this discussion. So, on breaking the mold, I think it's about like whatever your type is. Like, I know for me, for a while started, I've dated a lot of guys who've had kids. And one of the things I just found is I don't want to date anybody who still has kids that are at home. And
Oh,
so,
the kids are small. You don't go, okay. If the kids have
yeah,
grown up, it's okay. If kids have grown up and moved on, I moved
yeah, if
on.
the kids
I
are
mean,
growing up,
that's
it's fine, but, like, somebody who's still like, "I'm a great dad, I spend all my time on my weekends with my kids," I'm like, "That's terrific for you." I'm respectful of that, but I just know for me, and especially because when you do date someone with kids, then you end up in a situation where when you're breaking up with, like, the whole family, and you're like, "This is, like, a lot of drama, and I don't wanna do this anymore." So, I've just decided, like, I can't date somebody with kids at home. So, like, that was for me, like, a way to break the mold.
or another thing is you could date somebody who doesn't have a family. Then you're not breaking up with the whole family. That's another one.
Right, that's what I'm saying. So for me, that's
No,
like,
that they don't have kids, they don't have parents, they don't have brothers or sisters, don't have anybody. So then
just
you're not
find
breaking
an orphan.
then you're not breaking up with the family. There you go. Problem solved.
And
Okay.
it's interesting though, because like with my ex-husband, I ended up with the whole family. So that was actually kind of a bonus.
All right. There you go. There you go.
Got
So
rid of the ex, kept the family, best thing ever. But I
right.
mean, there's a lot of different stereotypes of, like I've watched this is, both sides, but I'm gonna just pick on men on this one. Like where they continuously like
Oh, funny that. I wasn't expecting that.
well, I did this once myself. But it wasn't like it was definitely not my type, and I knew it and knew it didn't happen again. But where people date pretty people who maybe aren't that bright, and they're like, "Well, I really wish I could date somebody who could carry on a conversation." I'm like, "But that's not what you do. You date these models who just like push their food around on the plate and who like can't carry on a conversation." And when you're talking about world events, they're like, "Oh, what's Ukraine?" And you're like, "Okay." Like you've met these people and they just date the same person over and over and over.
Okay. Yes.
And
So,
so
but for some people, conversations about world events are important, and for other people, they're not important. So, I mean, and that's okay. There's different types of people out there. So
right,
you
and if
may
they
be
were
you may be one of those type of people. That sort of stuff is important for current affairs. Might be important for you, but then you need to find somebody who has similar things. If you have somebody if you're somebody who likes current affairs, well, I mean, you might get somebody who loves celebrity gossip, for example. But I mean, celebrity gossip is not. It's close to current affairs, but it's not quite the same thing.
Okay, I'm just gonna go on a completely different thing. So a couple weeks ago, this whole thing with like Will Smith and the other guy,
Oh
and
yeah,
I'm just like,
yes,
I do my best to filter out Hollywood news, and I'm like, why is this literally on the front of like every news feed,
well,
everything? I'm like, this is not news. This is,
no, no,
you know what
this is
entertainment
trash
people
stuff.
do? They entertain you. That is their job.
Yes,
Sorry, this is my
and
personal diatribe. Nothing to do with the show.
yeah, well, they entertained us. Everybody's talking about the Oscars. It made news. I mean, otherwise, the Oscars would come and go, and we wouldn't even remember who won, didn't win. But now, it was a memorable event. I mean, was the whole thing staged? Was the whole thing staged? Probably not. It looked like it was staged at the start, but what's that got to do with the type anyway? It's even made it
Uh,
onto our podcast. It's
I
even
know.
that topic has even made it onto our podcast.
It's like kudzu. Do you know kudzu? It's like this vines. They come originally
Mm,
from Japan, but like when you put them out of their native country, they just grow
mm,
everywhere. These like little
mm.
tentacles. Yeah, and that's the problem with these whole Hollywood things. They just they're like kudzu.
So
They grow
how does that tie into Bad Boy? I mean, is the bad boy
no, it's not
the
the
guy who
bad
made the
boy.
joke?
It's
He
about
bad
no,
guy who made the bad joke, or the guy who had the bad reaction?
it's
Is
not
that what you
bad
mean?
boys
Like,
or girls. It's a breaking the mold. Like even if your type is you continuously date only super smart people who are kind of nerdy and wear glasses, that's still a type. It's about breaking whatever the mold is, whether
but
they're
why
good
would
or
you? Yeah,
bad.
but why break the mold if it's if it
But it's
works?
not working if you're a serial like relationship person. You need to find obviously that's not working for you. Like, I've known women who've created these like, I will only date a guy with this and this and this and this, and it doesn't work. And then they eventually meet like a firefighter. And then they're like, oh my gosh, this guy's like so great. And they would have like never dated somebody like that. So it's about changing it up and doing something new, not about any specific stereotype, I
Yeah, well, it goes back to this thing about types and criterias and all this sort of stuff. I mean, most of this is just nonsense.
think.
It- I mean, it's all very easy to have your checklist of tack, 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 tack of the most important things, but most of it is nonsense because when you meet somebody, it kind of works or it doesn't work. I mean, whether that has any connection to your criteria is very loosely related.
Well,
I mean,
Mel,
if you ask any of your married friends and ask them, do their husbands or partners meet the criteria of their dream guy? I don't know if they've even got 50% of their coverage of their checklist.
oh my gosh, I really want to do a study on this. But
Yeah, well,
Mel,
there's your
we're
homework.
gonna
There's your
get
homework.
we're
There's
gonna
your
get ready
homework.
for our next show. And on our next show, we are going to be talking about dating someone who does not like your friends and family. So stay
Yeah.
tuned,
So,
everybody, for our next show.
all right.
Okay.
Cheerio. Next time.
Bye.